We're here in the very noisy pits of the Albstadt round of the World Cup, and we're just about to take a look at Florian Vogel's Raven Max. The Raven Max has been around for a few years now, but it can still hold its own on the World Cup circuit. And with a build like this, I think there's very little that's going to let young Florian down. Starting with kind of one of the most interesting points, Florian's choosing to ride a dropper post around the course. Now, Albstadt's not considered to be one of the more technical courses on the circuit, but it does have some very, very steep run-ins. So even though that's only got that little 65mm of drop, it still should make a big difference on those steeper sections. Interestingly, speaking to the team manager for Focus, he said it would actually be possible to run a larger dropper seat post on this bike, but Florian chooses to run a 65mm seat post so that if he has to pedal when the seat post is down, he doesn't lose out on too much power. One of the things that makes these bikes so interesting is all the small changes that the pros make to make the bikes their own, and the sort of thing you tend not to see on everyday bikes. A good example, and it's a very common one, is the removal of the top cap of the headset to make that front end just that little bit lower. This combined with the aggressive FSA stem makes for a very low down back-braking front end. So it'll be super efficient on the climbs, you'll be able to get that weight over the front wheel on steeper sections as well. These tyres look like everyday Continental Race King tyres, but closer examination reveals that they're actually the Pro Limited version, which has a super sticky compound and a very slightly different, lighter weight construction compared to the regular tyre. Something else you're absolutely not going to find in an everyday bike is that 38-tooth chainring up front, which is absolutely monstrous. What's interesting is the team manager told us that Florian is planning on running this 38-tooth chainring during the short track race as well as the proper race on Sunday. This is seriously impressive given how steep some of the climbs are on the Albstadt course. Florian is running an Eagle group set, but he has matched this with an FSA power meter crankset up front. Another interesting spec point is the Trick Stuff Piccola brakes, which are claimed to be the lightest cross-country brakes on the circuit. I've used the trail version of these, the Duratissima brakes, and they feel pretty unique. It's quite a sharp action, but in terms of feel on the bars, they just feel so nicely made, and it's a very different feeling compared to the Shimano or SRAM brakes we more typically see these days. Those 2.2 Continental Race King tyres are mounted to suitably wide and trendy 30mm wide DT Swiss rims. These give the tyres a super rounded, very beefy profile, which should make for really good traction on even the loosest sections of the course. I suspect, in a similar way we have with trail and enduro bikes, we're going to see more and more wider rims on the cross-country circuit in coming years. In terms of contact points, on the back, we've got a clearly much-loved Pro logo Nago C3 saddle. This is actually looking pretty worn out and has clearly seen a lot of action underneath Florian's lovely bum. Again, rarely seen on everyday bikes, we have a set of super lightweight, titanium spindled HT pedals. In terms of additional controls, we've of course got the dropper lever, and we've also got a lockout remote for the Fox 32 Steadcast fork. This is about as light a fork as you can possibly get without getting into all sorts of weird carbon proprietary nonsense. In terms of suspension setup, I have no idea what he's running, but I have no doubt it feels supple off the top, supportive in the midstroke, and ramps up delightfully towards the end. A favourite phrase, of course, of the BikeRadar review team. In terms of weight, pretty light. My calibrated elbow says probably less than 9 kilos. It's very clean. It's the sort of bike I'd love to have but would never be able to do justice. Thanks to Florian for letting us borrow your bike, and good luck for the rest of the season.